Alright guys, TIRADE back again today, hopefully enjoying your Thursday so far, and today I want to talk about some more Twitter beef that's gone down over the last 24 hours or so. Remarkable stuff, but of course, the Minnesota Call of Duty event this weekend starts tomorrow. We'll talk about that in tomorrow's video predictions and cover the weekend as normal, but today we need to talk about some sort of the rivalries that are building up to it, especially around JoeyNubzy and the Seattle Surge in a very difficult spot right now. Yesterday we talked about Kambo retiring, potentially some other players that could be following out the door in the coming months, but of course, Seattle are playing this weekend with their new look squad with Proto on the team. Doesn't look like it's going to go so well, right, given they've got Atlanta and Dallas Empire in their group, but maybe they'll be able to turn something around and get some decent results and prove the doubters wrong, right, because that's what we're going to talk about today, really. Temp versus JoeyNubzy on Twitter and then on Reddit last night. Maybe Joey needs to just sit back and let the results do the talking, if that's at all possible. Let's hop into it then. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always, I would greatly appreciate it. If you want to join the draft royale for this weekend, the link will be down in the pinned comment below. Before we get into that, just wanted to mention real quick this Toronto team. So, you know, Classic talked about personal issues the other day. It definitely seems like that's the case right here from Grazen over at the Toronto Ultra does this tweet that you can see on screen. But intriguingly, Cleanex, who was clearly replacing him in the team for the time being, then tweets this out. So who knows whether Classic's going to be actually coming back into the starting lineup for this weekend. Would be a bit of a strange one, bringing him back literally like a day or two before they were planning to play, especially because Cleanex in scrims apparently has been going pretty well. So, you know, intriguing. Maybe this is just bait or something, but I can't imagine why it would be. So we'll have to see exactly what happens this weekend, whether Classic is in the starting lineup or whether Cleanex is, because of course that might affect some of you guys' decisions if you want to play in the draft royale stuff. Also, in terms of the amateur scene, a lot of things went down last night. Of course, they had the most recent, well, the Minnesota Rocker Challengers thing was still on last weekend. Some decent results in that. I think Parasite's team ended up placing second in this one. Looks pretty solid, but he gets dropped off the team again. I had one bad online tournament when we won all the maps I played poorly in. And RCT says the scrim is chalk, though they're going to play against Chicago. Now they will play you with the new fifth. No thanks, says RCTs. So yeah, unfortunate for Parasite once again, but a lot of things happened yesterday, so I'm sure he'll land somewhere. You know, Profiti tweets, yay, I'm glad Paul X left our team. Didn't like teaming with that guy anyways. And then we have this. So Spart, of course, on the LAG. He's going to be teaming with Proloot and the Challengers stuff. So definitely not going to be coming back to the starting lineup on the LAG anytime soon at all. Saints supposedly replacing him over there. So keep an eye on that in the coming days here. But yeah, some interesting amateur stuff going on. We'll have to talk, I guess, next weekend. Or maybe this weekend they're doing a Challengers Cup or whatever's going on. But I think it'll be next weekend where really things start kicking off once again. For the Challenger season, we'll see how all the rosters are shaping up. So let's talk about this drama once again that went down yesterday. Starts with JoeyNubzy, right? So Mac Melts just ordered a quarter-pounder meal, a chicken sandwich, 10 nuggets and 3 cookies. Scrims must have been horrific today for the subliners. So Joey starts with this. Of course, the last few days we talked about Slacked and some of the other guys on Seattle doing these tweets. Are they, you know, are they meant tongue-in-cheek? Are they joking? Or are they being legit, right? Seems like JoeyNubzy's obviously meaning it somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Like he's probably not like fully, you know, it's obviously taken somewhat as a joke, right? But anyway, Tim comes back with it. It was better than a good day for your camp. Wonder who built that camp. Fools should get fired. Max just a little hungry. So, yeah, interesting, right? Like saying that whoever built this roster should just be fired. And it's intriguing to know, like, who exactly was you know, responsible for putting this roster together. Clearly, as Octane said on the podcast most recently, that wasn't the team they were really looking for. They kind of got apathy and karma last minute with the trio of, well, Octane, Enable, and Slacked being the initial ones. They weren't looking to have that team at the start of the season. However, it didn't work out for them, so maybe, you know, who was really responsible for forming this team? Didn't seem like, from what Octane said, it was like an overarching decision that someone came in and decided this is the way they were going to go. Seemed like kind of a mishmash towards the end. But anyway, interesting you would say that. Then Joey replies, just don't bully Mac too much more. He's the saving grace of our team. Not bullying the guy. He's the best thing to happen to us all year. You should focus on getting your team to unchalk it, but might be gone too far. My team hasn't chalked it as far as I'm aware. We've been having a great time and improving. I wouldn't worry about my focus. We both have a lot to work on. As for Mac, do better nurturing the young talent before it's a passing regret. So, you know, once again, we get some drama here. Joey going at Temp saying that, like, he's not good at nurturing young talent. Temp, of course, saying the same thing the other way around. And, you know, it's interesting that Joey says this stuff, right? Because if you think about where they're sitting in the standings, clearly Temp has been a pretty solid player this year, but the New York Subliners have improved as a squad over the last few events since they got Mac on the squad. Whereas the Seattle Surge started a bad team and they've gone on a downhill trajectory ever since. And the best player of all time's retired as a result. So, you know, maybe Joey should just leave it off Twitter for now, because he just makes him an easy target, right, for people to talk about. So, you know, anyway, so Temp then then replies to this, LMAO, nurturing fools, had the 3 times, sent him to retirement and enable only one of the winningest players in COD history straight to the bench. You don't know what the hell you are doing. You would be chalked if it wasn't for Sam. Octane, you better be holding on to his pocket for dear life. And it continues to go back and forth from here, to be honest. Pretty much all these tweets have been deleted. So thanks once again to Crone at CDL Intel's Discord for picking up some of this stuff that I'm going to show on screen right now. So yeah, clearly there was some back and forth from this tweet from Temp, then everything got deleted, so it went on while I was asleep, so I didn't get to capture any of this stuff live, but this is what basically happened. So Joey must have said something about, like, whatever, you know, nothing against your former players, but you all got last at champs. We'll have a look at that in a second. The Gen G team in Black Ops 4 that came last of the World Championship. No, now you're even more chalked. I played your team that was having mid-series subs, saying that, like, that's not a sign of a good organization, right? You know, at the time I said, like, I respect JoeyNubzy for trying this out, the mid-series sub with Enable out and Panda in for the Search and Destroy. You know, hasn't really worked as of yet, and maybe that's not the best thing to do in terms of team cohesion and chemistry, but given Enable's track record in Search, maybe that made sense. And then obviously Joey replied with something about how, well, you also got last at champs, talking about World War II on the Echo Fox team, but they actually came 3rd in that group. Vitality famously came 2nd with, I think it was Maple, Shane, Tommy was on that squad, and I forget the last one. But anyway, they came 3rd, that Echo Fox team, with Bryson Saints, who was going through a divorce, so kind of unnecessarily personal. This tweet then gets deleted from there. And then we have this one, so like, you know, continuing off the thread, bro, what? Just stop tweeting me. Yeah, I'm not going to read that, but you know what I'm saying. Then everything gets deleted, and Sam ends up replying to one, which we'll look at in a second, but then he says this, Jerry, so that's slacked, Josiah Berry, also wishes he didn't have to speak to you ever again. So once again, as he suggested the other day that Karma retired because he didn't like playing and didn't like the toxicity on the squad that we talked about a couple of days ago, now Temp is saying that, well, Slacked, the team captain, wishes he didn't have to speak to you. So I don't really know where he's getting this stuff from. Of course, the pros talk about this kind of stuff behind the scenes. You would imagine the coach, JoeyNubzy, would be more well connected to what the players think than the, than Donnie Temp is. But who knows, right? Maybe the players are talking behind the scenes. And of course, if, the season isn't going very well for the Seattle Surge, you can definitely imagine that chemistry between the players, but also between the coaching staff, could be getting somewhat stressed at the current time. Definitely understandable. Yeah, this is one of the tweets that Temp hasn't since deleted. Then everything else gets deleted. Octane replies to that tweet we looked at a second ago, saying, weirdest thing I've seen in a minute. This entire chain of replies is mad strange. He was kidding and he took it personal. So, yeah, you know, the guys backing each other up, I suppose. Then it gets taken to Reddit, right? So there's a thread about JoeyNubzy, like, how good is he as a coach? Like, how qualified can he possibly be as a coach? And, yeah, I mean, look, there was some interesting discussion once again. A lot of these tweets are deleted, a lot of these Reddit posts are now deleted, but some of these are still up here from JoeyNubzy talking about the differences between traditional sports and esports, saying that, ask me about the Jets is saying that, like, in a normal sport, if the team isn't doing well, the coach is getting axed. Joey's saying, like, it's not the same in real sports or in esports, which I think is probably a fair point, right? Like, in esports, the coaching staff probably has a lower percentage impact on how well the team does than in a real sport, I would imagine. But, you know, we'll have to see how things develop over the coming years, because it's not really clear right now how, how the coaching staff affects people in esports, because it hasn't really been trialed for too many years, right? Like, coaches haven't been around too long in Call of Duty, quite frankly. And then there's another tweet right here, which you guys, or another Reddit comment that you guys can pause and read if you would so like. But, you know, obviously everything since gets deleted, and JoeyNubzy finishes off in a second, but Method says, per sources, Donovan Templeroda agrees to take on Joseph Nubzy, I can't pronounce the surname, in the super heavyweight title, live for the MLG studio in Columbus, Ohio. UFC 252. So pretty entertaining, of course. Yeah, it's kind of what I was talking about the other day, right? But Joey finishes off with, alright, that's enough entertainment for the night. Hope everyone is having a great night after everything gets deleted. Just wanted to say real quick, like, of course, Nubzy's had some decent success as a coach throughout his career. Last year, especially on Gen G, was the team which really stood out, right? They got these couple of second places. You know, Nubzy probably was quite influential in making this Space League change, which early on in the season didn't really work. Their Search and Destroy got worse. But, you know, it has to be said, once Envoy came into the squad and they brought Nagafen back for Anaheim and the Stage 2 playoffs, or just the overall playoffs that it was that season, they come second at both championships, right? And there were some impressive results, to be honest, for Nubzy that season. A lot of people would say this success kind of carried him through, but maybe he was somewhat influential in that. You have to argue that he probably was to some degree, given the names on this team weren't exactly expected to be a dominant force, but Nubzy probably, shaped them to some degree where they could make grand finals. However, this season hasn't gone so well, right? And to what degree can you put this on Nubzy's shoulders? I think I made a video about this a while ago. But look, if Nubzy's going to come out and say that, like, look, I'm good at my job and, I shouldn't be fired from the team, but I do take some responsibility for the things that have happened, it might be better for him just to, like, look, put that into practice, right? Like, take this new squad. You've got Proto, you've got Panda on the team. You've obviously been somewhat influential in making these changes and bringing these guys in and deciding that Enable is not going to come back for the rest of the season. If they manage to turn the season around and get some decent results, then, Nubzy can start talking back at this stuff. But right now, it's very easy to look at these results this season and just say, like, Nubzy, what are you talking about on Twitter, right? Like, back things up before you start talking, as Nadeshot would say, like, don't talk trash if you're not going to win the map. So, and then Mork says on Twitter here, or on Reddit, I keep getting these things confused. Of course, last season on the Gen G team, these guys were on the same squad. But he says, Joey is super passionate about his job, takes it seriously, provides valuable information to other teams, on other teams to the team. The reason the team is not performing is due to certain individuals with bad attitudes and super toxic behavior in general, chalk it mentality. The role of a coach is not the same as traditional sports, and you'd be surprised how big of egos some people have in esports, specifically CoD. You can't force grown men to grow up and take their jobs seriously. So yeah, calling out some players on the Seattle Surge squad rather than JoeyNubzy, particularly, which I definitely think is a valid line to take on this one. So yeah, intrigued to hear your thoughts down below. Really thought this is kind of funny as well. Joey tweets out, I guess this is a wolf, but I think isn't it quite like a lion? Lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep, or whatever it is. Maybe it's wolves. I don't know. But yeah, I thought this whole exchange was pretty entertaining. Intrigued to hear your thoughts on this down in the comment section below. Of course, Seattle were a very difficult group this weekend. Atlanta and Dallas, so definitely not going to expect them to do too much, but look, if they can win a couple of maps, look somewhat competitive, and maybe improve going into future weekends, maybe it's possible, right? But for now, Joey is, it just seems to me he's putting himself out as a bit of a target for all these people to talk about, because, the less the players talk about things, the more that Joey's talking about stuff, people are going to direct the, their feelings that the team is doing poorly upon the coaching staff, as they've done in previous seasons with TP and OpTic Gaming, whether that was valid or not, right? So yeah, intrigued to hear your thoughts down below. Like if you guys enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new as always. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.